Very weird.
T3
Hey
Media.
guys, welcome back to another episode of Talking Through the Media. Is your home for entertainment news and reviews by fans for fans here on the T3 Media Studios channel. I'm Chris Fagan, and joining me today, as always, is my wife, Joy Fagan. Hey babe, how you doing?
Hey.
Stay right there, don't move. Let me see if I can. You don't have to keep waving, but I'll just. There we go. I just want to fix that real quick. I had the camera kind of angled wrong. Guys, we're going to get into the whole situation with the Diddy trial here on Talking Through the Medias. But first, there's a lot of updates and changes that are happening on the channel, and I wanted to discuss that with you guys. Just, go over the new shows, how they work, what they're going to be about, and just if you guys have any questions, if you're joining us live. I know that this isn't usually the time that we usually stream, but we have so much going on, and we're about to get into some things. So personally, we just had to start early on a Saturday. We couldn't do it during the week. It was just too exhausting, but we'll like I said, we'll get into all of that later. So guys, if you guys join us in the live chat, if you're watching us live here on YouTube, we're not multi-streaming on everything else. It's another thing that's happening. We'll get into that later. But first, through the media, the live stream hasn't been confirmed, but I'm kind of worried that kind of for a day or two was all over the place, this whole thing with Steve Harvey. But the Diddy trial, before we get into like the story as a whole, like anything new that you've come across or anything that you've seen recently right before we started from the
I don't think anything new, no.
There's nothing. I was like, I know that a lot of people have testified. A lot of people have. I'm wondering if Diddy himself is going to testify, and at this point, they always say that in these situations they usually never do. I don't think that lawyers ever advise them to do that. But in this case, I don't know why, but I feel like it's kind of stacked against him. It's not looking good. It's not looking good for Diddy with all this that's coming against him. But let's go over for the witnesses that have testified. I'm going to start off with some of the key facts, the recent updates, and Joey, why don't you start us off with the first witness that came to the stand to talk about Diddy.
So first up, excuse me, was Cassie Ventura herself, one of the main persons involved in this. Mm-hmm. And we had, number one, allegations of abuse and the freak-offs. Cassie, Diddy's ex-girlfriend, testified for 4 days, detailing alleged physical, sexual, and verbal abuse. She described being forced to engage in freak-offs with male escorts, which Diddy allegedly watched and sometimes recorded. Number two, she feeling heavily objectified and drug use. Cassie stated she felt heavily objectified during these encounters and used drugs during every freak-off to disassociate and numb herself from the emotional impact.
That was the part I wanted to stop at real quick. As a lot of, when we're going to get into the comments section too, but when people were blaming her and calling her complacent and things like that, if you are going so far to numb yourself, to disassociate yourself because of what you know is about to happen, to me, that's a powerful statement. A lot of people don't realize that even if it's not drugs per se, we do that almost whether it's video games, movies, or something like that, whatever you can do to escape their reality, because she probably felt like there was no escape. But I'm sorry I cut you off on that, but you guys need to really listen to that. That makes a lot of sense in a bad way for her, like for all those naysayers. But we'll get into that later. What was the next one?
Number three, threats and blackmail. Mm-hmm. She testified that Diddy threatened to release videos of her having sex with male escorts if she didn't comply, referring to them as blackmail materials. 4, corroboration of assault video. Her testimony aligns with the previously released 2016 video showing Diddy assaulting her in a hotel hallway, which was allowed as evidence. And then 5, control and finances. Cassie stated that Diddy controlled her music career, finances and even paid for her apartment and allowance, making it difficult for her to leave the relationship.
So most of that was from sources like People Magazine, Newsday, and I just, when you run down, what was it, 4 days of testimony, when you go down the list of everything that she had to state again, one of the things that kept coming up from people who talk about it were like, one question came up was that I don't feel like she should even be allowed to even testify anymore. She was already paid. I'm like, that's not the same thing. That was like a civil trial, like a lawsuit and whatnot. And then he was found liable and she had to make a settlement. I'm sure he assumed that meant she was going to go away, like if this went further, but no. It's almost like the same situation where if an assault happens or something, or a major crime happens, and you go, well, I don't want to press any charges. Sometimes it's not up to you. The DA is going to do it. I mean, the state will decide for you. It doesn't matter if you don't want to press charges. I know the crime happened, and the state is going to press. That's why it says, Diddy versus the state of or whatnot. It doesn't necessarily have to be Diddy versus Cassie. It's the state who brings it. So these people who are like, there's one person that was telling me right to my face saying, I don't think she should be allowed to, because there's nothing else to gain. So unless you're claiming that Cassie is just being super vindictive or something, think about it like this. She was subpoenaed. You can't just say no to that. It's like all the time. Like people think that sometimes that's an option. I mean, you can say no, but I think you go to jail. If I'm not mistaken. Am I wrong about that? If you don't go to a summons?
I mean, I would assume so.
But if she was summoned, that's it. You have to go. So that's this whole conversation about.
I mean, I saw in the comments for days just lots of people who were like, I don't feel bad for her. She got what she deserved. She was totally in this because she thought she was going to get rich and fame, and so I don't feel bad. Whatever. And that stuff bothered me because I'm like, first of all, I don't care that. Yeah, more than likely, she was like 19 or 20.
Right.
She probably did go, wow, Diddy, this could make me huge. I could be rich.
They never show you the monster on day one.
I could get all kinds of money from this. Oh my gosh, this is exciting. I love it. But that doesn't mean I deserve to get treated like crap for the next 12 years and because I asked for it because I wanted to be rich. Right, so therefore.
Talking about the fine print and some whatever bullshit.
And also, they're like, oh, well, she enjoyed it. How do you know this? But again, she could have very well started off in the beginning going, I'm having a good time. Yeah. I don't mind this. This is fun. I'm freaky. Yeah, cool. Yeah. But that doesn't mean that someone can't change their mind at some point and go, this isn't fun anymore.
Once you say the safe word, it's
I don't like this anymore. I don't want to do this anymore.
Yeah.
And
that's supposed to be it.
And people act like you're not allowed to change your mind. They're just like, nope. She liked it, so therefore she got to do that forever. And
it was cool. If it was cool in the beginning, then it should be cool all the time. Like, no, that's not how that works. But moving on to the next testimony, I think came from a man named David James, which is Diddy's former assistant. Let me pull that up real fast because I didn't know. I forgot about this guy. Reading about it. The key point that came up first was witnessing control and abuse. James Diddy's personal assistant from 2007 to 2009 testified about Diddy's controlling nature, particularly towards Cassie. He recalled Cassie stating, I can't get out. Mr. Combs oversees so much of my life. And that came from People. Number 2, right where I wanted her. James testified that Diddy allegedly referred to Cassie as moldable and said he got her right where I wanted her. She's young. It's exactly what Joy was saying a minute ago. Number 3, guns, drugs, and lie detector tests. James described Diddy's daily drug use Percocet by day, ecstasy by night. His experience being forced to take lie detector tests, and a howling incident where he drove a car with Diddy to in the backseat with 3 handguns on his lap. That came from like New York, NBC New York, and People. Number 4, fear of his life. He stated he quit his job after realizing his life was in danger during the incident with the guns. Number 5, cleaning up hotel rooms. James described cleaning up Diddy's hotel rooms, which often included empty bottles of liquor, Gatorade, and baby oil, implying a need to protect Mr. Combs from potentially embarrassment. And that came from The Independent. So this was one of the guys that like really saw a lot, and to what like people would probably say saw too much if you in that situation. So, but also these are the type of people who will have saved some evidence because they're probably in fear of their life. You know, from what I remember, the guy at the hotel that scene when they attack in the hallway paid him off to erase any video footage of it. He erased it, but not before he also made a copy. So he made a copy, erased the main copy, and just in case, which is what people can do. So unless you're in that situation, like you got Suge Knight hanging Vanilla Ice upside down and gonna force them and watch them assign, like you're gonna. I mean, if you're not gonna watch them delete the things, 9 times out of 10, people are making copies. I know I would. I'm telling you to your face right now. I'm probably gonna make a copy. Because there's not going to be a situation that's going to come up later where because people are thinking, if you can do that to them, they can do that to me. So there's receipts everywhere. Who was the next person that came in?
Sheree Hayes, who was known as the Punisher, male exotic dancer. Mm-hmm. And point 1 they brought up was sexy erotic scenes. Hayes, known as the Punisher, testified that he was paid to perform sexy erotic scenes with Cassie Ventura while a naked man, later identified as Diddy, watched. That came from BBC News.
Baby, that's crazy.
Point 2, unaware of Diddy's identity, he initially did not realize the man observing was Diddy, only discovering his identity when he saw a "Welcome Sean Combs" message on a hotel TV. Again, that comes from BBC News. Number 3, Diddy's directions and Cassie's reactions. Hayes described Diddy giving explicit directions during the encounters and Cassie sometimes wincing, sighing, or looking to Diddy for consent. Again, from BBC News. Number 4, specific instructions. He was told by Cassie to avoid eye contact with Diddy during the scenes. That comes from People. Number 5, corroborates the freak-off accounts. His testimony further supports Cassie's accounts of the alleged freak-off activities. Again, from People.
Yeah. And for the next one, because I'm going to move on, the next one came from Cassie's mother herself, Regina Ventura. Extortion and fear for her daughter's safety. Regina Ventura testified that Diddy demanded $20,000 from her family after learning Cassidy was dating Kid Cudi, claiming it was to recoup money that he had spent on Cassie. She paid the money out of fear for her Cassie's safety, and that came from People and AP News. Number 2, confirmation of threats. She confirmed receiving an email from Cassie detailing Diddy's alleged threats to release explicit S-tapes and harm Cassie and Kid Cudi. And PR and CBS New York. Number 3, documenting bruises. Regina testified that she took photos of bruises on Cassie's body in December of 2011, which she stated were the result of Diddy's violence. These photos were shown to the jury. Number 4, physically sick reaction. She described feeling physically sick upon reading Cassie's email about the threats and the sex tape. Number 5, defense did not cross-examine. Notably, Diddy's defense did not cross-examine Regina Ventura. That's that situation where it's like, no, I have no questions for this witness, because I'm pretty sure no matter what your question you're going to ask, her response is going to be detrimental. I mean, it's this is a mother's love situation. This is a another woman fearing for their lives and the lives of her baby. So yeah. Of course, I'm not surprised with that. Of course, I'm not surprised that with the other one that you listed down, the guy, the escort, who corroborated once again the baby oil. Anything from that list before we get into their comments, the comment section? Anything from that hit you?
No, it just further confirms to me that she was stuck.
Yeah. It had no way out until Harvey Weinstein went down. That's another thing that I noticed. It's interesting that once somebody as powerful as he could go down, then all of a sudden all these other guys probably like, uh-oh. And they knew it, and they knew. You notice little things were starting to happen with Diddy. He, years before the ish hit the fan, when the Cassie thing started to come up, he decided to, out of the kindness of his heart, give the masters of all the songs on the Bad Boys catalog and give them to the artists. Probably and I'm pretty sure a contract came from those two. And it's like, okay, you get to control your hits that were hitting back in the 90s and the early 2000s. But even before this stuff really started hitting the fan, before Harvey Weinstein and stuff, the Bad Boys catalog has not been doing much at all, even the past hits. So it was like, and then after the allegations came out, they were even less valuable. So I was like, oh, wow, thanks for the masters to my song. Now that you've driven the brand into the ground and below. I mean, it was just a gesture, in my opinion, that he was doing just to probably smooth things over and to ensure that there was going to be no more witnesses or people coming out with allegations. It probably did come with a contract of, what's those things called? Non-disclosure agreement. The Kid Cudi thing, Homeland Security investigation, Special Agent Gerald Gannon. That was, I think I have that here, but it's probably linked with the Kid Cudi thing. I'll keep both of them up. I don't think I have his image up, but I'll run it down real fast. The raid on Diddy's house. Special Agent Gannon testified about the March 2024 raid on Diddy's home in Miami and Los Angeles, which involved armored vehicles and seized weapons, 15 rifles, two AR-15 rifles, some with serial numbers removed, a .45 caliber handgun and ammunition. Number 3, the freak-off supplies. Gannon detailed the discovery of items consistent with the freak-offs marathons, including 25 bottles of baby oil, 31 bottles of Astroglide lubricant, lingerie, sex toys, including dildos, and platform high heels. Number 4, seized drugs, pills, testing positive for MDMA, Xanax, and hallucinogens. Mushrooms ingredients were found, including some marked with a Tesla symbol and a Bin Laden, and a bin labeled Puffy. A bin labeled Puffy. Number 5, investigations triggered by Cassie's lawsuit. Gannon confirmed that the federal investigation began shortly after Cassie Ventura filed her lawsuit against Diddy in November 2023. So then there's the Kid Cudi stuff. So I read that one, but I think I stepped on yours. But I'll keep going. So crucially,
people forget too that again, like you said, this trial, the previous trial was Cassie civil trial for money for things he had done. Mm-hmm. That sparked the government
to look into it.
And this trial is about the government. This is not a trial about Cassie. I'm filing this and I'm trying to get more money from you. This is a federal case. Yeah. She's just one of the witnesses. So all these people getting upset and saying things are like, she didn't file. Bring it over to you. She didn't file this. Mm-hmm. This is not her.
This is the DA.
This is DA.
I mean, even Biggie said it. Like, federal agents mad because I'm flagrant. I'm tapping my phone and the phone in the basement. They claim to live this lifestyle. So I mean, eventually it gets manifested. Kid Cudi's recent testimony. So Kid Cudi got on the stand yesterday. I'm sorry, the day before yesterday, on Thursday, May 22nd. We heard from the rapper Kid Cudi, whose legal name is Scott Mescudi. His testimony shed light on his relationship with Cassie Ventura back in 2011 to 2012, a period when she was still involved with Sean Combs. Kid Cudi recounted a disturbing incident regarding a break-in at his home. He testified that Cassie called him in a distressed state after Diddy had reportedly found out about their relationship. When Cudi returned home, he found that his gifts he had bought had been opened. His dog was inexplicably locked in the bathroom, and his security cameras had been moved. He described his dog as being jittery and on edge all the time afterwards. So they might have did something to that dog. You have to John Wick this one. Later in January 2012, after his relationship with Cassie had ended, Kid Cudi testified about his Porsche being set on fire. He described finding the Porsche 911 911 as a Cabriolet extensively damaged with a hole cut in the roof, which it believed was for the insertion of a Molotov cocktail. Damn. Photos of the burnt car were shown on the jury during the testimony, revealing significant charring and smoke damage. He also described a later confrontation with Diddy at Soho House. Kid Cudi stated that Diddy's demeanor during this meeting was like a Marvel supervillain, one of the most craziest testimonies I've ever heard in my life. When confronted about the car fire, Diddy allegedly denied any involvement, saying he didn't know what Cudi was talking about. Kid Cudi testified that Cassie had told him Diddy would hit her sometimes kick her, as we saw in the video. So confirmed. Looking ahead, we expect to Diddy, as well as representatives from the Los Angeles Police Department and the Los Angeles Fire Department. Just to remind our audience, Diddy is facing serious federal charges, including trafficking, racketeering, conspiracy, and transportation to engage in prostitution. The whole conversation I was having with somebody was talking about, like, how come if it's illegal to do it or whatever in New York, or if you pay for it in the second they cross that state line from one state to the next, if that next state, even if that's not the final destination, the second you cross from one state to the next on the road or a state that does not allow that to be legal, I'm assuming that's why it's trafficking, or for the simple fact that you're not keeping it in that legal state, you're moving it. Even if you're moving into another legal state.
It's not legal in New York.
Oh, it's not. Oh, so okay, so it's not. So that right there, boom. The end result. You pulled something that's legal here, but you did it there, where it's not legal. That's why.
I think they were talking about him. I think flying people in even from other countries.
And
so
stuff,
I mean, like that's
yeah. It might be legal there, but I mean, it's not here, or it's not what So I don't understand why people were having a hard time understanding that part of it, the trafficking part of it. He has pled not guilty to all charges. The defense strategy has often involved attempting to portray Cassie as a willing participant in the alleged activities, and they've used past text in an effort to support this claim. During cross-examination of Kid Cudi, the defense examined the lack of direct evidence, definitely linking Diddy to the car fire, and also tried to characterize Cassidy as having played both men. So the whole defense situation of it, I guess the only strategy, in my opinion, is to, I guess, not so much defend your client and prove that he could never do these things, but just to sully and damage the reputation of the person making the claim to the point where it's like, I don't think it's credible. So it's just try to challenge the credibility of the person, pointing the finger. Do you think that's going to work, or how do you think that's going to play out? if you, I mean, especially, I don't know if you were on the jury stand or not, but do you think that's going to play out?
Of them trying to, I don't personally, when they're talking about him trafficking other people and this, I don't, what does Cassie have, whether she's willing, was having a good time or not, she's not the one that, Diddy was the one paying for people to come and do this and recording and all the stuff. So, okay.
So, I'm read off the last thing, the last little bit that we got going on here. For the upcoming, what's the upcoming testimony from?
There's upcoming testimony from Capricorn Clark, a former Diddy assistant, LAPD, and LAFD representatives. Diddy's charges: sex trafficking, racketeering, conspiracy, transportation to engage in prostitution, and his not guilty plea. And of course, like we said, they're trying to portray Cassie as a willing, citing text, and there's no evidence linking Diddy to the car fire.
Yes.
But
we'll just see how it all plays out. But that's that's mostly what's happening, what happened this week. What's been trending, what's been popping off. So we're going to get into the comment section of what's been said on these outlets. I'm going to start off with what was the first one? Was it TikTok? A TikToker, I believe her name. Let me pull it up real quick. A TikToker go at so I was blurred at Haley Joe, Haylee Joe, Haley Joe, where she was, I think she was at the courtroom, and you're not allowed to bring, there's no cameras in this one. So people, like, you got sketch artists, you got people, she had a whole like trapper keeper full, like she was like writing her notes like as it was happening in real time. So she came out and she discussed with her channel, I guess she put up her camera up and she got on there and just laid it all out. And so I would normally on this part of the segment, I would probably play a clip of it, but since I knew this was going to go long, I just didn't have time. So go to Haley Joe and you can see this video. I'll try to put the link in the description, but the comment section was pretty on. So one person commented on why did she give the address to Puff when asked where Kid Cudi lived. That's how she figured it out. That's how we allegedly how Puffy was able to get there to set the car on fire, to do what he did to the dog and things like that. So the question is, why did she give up the address? I guess this is part of the defense that what they're gonna say if she's I would doubt that they would say, the defense would say something like that, right? Like, well, if our client did set that car on fire, you're the one who gave him the address. So are you trying to charge Cassie or say that she orchestrated but again, the defense's argument is that they were playing both men, maybe against each other or something like that. But to do that, you would also have to equally admit Sean's affiliates did something. If you're trying to say, if your argument is, well, she was playing them against each other, okay, to do what? To set that car on fire? You're going to have to kind of admit that Puffy did it. So I don't understand if that was like a defense of him or not, but it was weird. But the response to that comment was from a person named Natalie. He obviously forced it out of her. It's literally Diddy. I says, come on now, why? I said, why do you think she gave up the address? So that was one conversation that's had on that channel, on that profile. Another one I think came from a Jordan. Jordan says she set him up to get Diddy jealous, pretending to be a victim to get him out of the house to be robbed, and her relationship status to us to rhymes with tuck him off, like like tuck stuck him in.
No, like
is that a
suck him in to like
to draw him in? Oh, okay. I'm like, I guess my mind was in the gutter. I was like, to suck him in? All right. I was like, what? So I mean, what do you think about like these comments? Like these people, like these are some of the people that are saying that Cassie has something to do with it. Do you buy this?
I just feel like a lot of this comes from people who do not understand what it's like to be in abusive,
or they're bots. I don't know.
To understand desperation,
Mm-hmm.
doing things out of desperation. I mean,
Out of fear, yeah. I mean,
or in
give
some
up
of
the
these,
I know you were there. Give up the address.
you know, when they're talking about texts and that she sounded, you know, like she was happy with Diddy and that she loved him and the freaky text. And I'm like, also, I guess, again, I don't know her. I don't know any of these, but
Yeah.
I do also know that a lot of people who are being abused in different ways know how to pretend very well, because otherwise you're gonna get it.
Have you ever seen that video of Melania Trump smiling deeply in Trump's face, and the second he turns around? So I mean, it could be that. It could be that. But people are talking. So on YouTube, Abba and Preacher channel I like to watch a lot. They have a video called "Diddy Stood There Like a Marvel Supervillain," and responding to what Kid Cudi said. So in their comment section, it was also a crazy thing. So let's move on to Abba and Preach. And there, I didn't pull the example, but it was too long, so I'll just put this is the video. So look for this video for Abba and Preach. You go to the comment section. There was one commenter named by the name of, and this is on YouTube, Chemico 6295, who says, "I want to see the brain dead people on TikTok try to defend him now. I swear I've been seeing Cassie get on everywhere for simply just having freaky text and for cheating on her boyfriend. But this man can literally, a woman senseless, have multiple baby mamas, be a drug addict, allegedly blow up a car, try to unalive a dog, and many more insane things. Yet, Cassie is the one that gets shamed. God forbid she is not the perfect victim. God forbid she felt concerned." This is exactly what Joy was saying about the situation. God forbid she felt coerced into doing certain things out of love, or so she wouldn't get, assaulted. Yet Diddy is literally out here giving Batman, Superman villains a run for their money, and all people want to focus on is Cassie being freaky. I can't with society. What do you think? I mean, that's
it. They're just so focused on, well, she looked like she sounded she sounded like she was having a good time. She sounded like she loved him so much. Okay, and
some guy named Boo Bandit 06 responded to that comment saying, "The way people turn on her when her pictures were leaked over a decade ago. It was Diddy coming through on his threats. Can you imagine how terrified she must have been, knowing exactly what had happened and knowing nobody would believe her?" And then following that up, somebody responded to Boo Bandit 06 saying, this was from a Javier NYC 423, which sounds such like a bot. It goes to Boo Bandit 06. "Free Diddy. He did nothing wrong." I'm like, this is what you're seeing. This is what you're seeing when you could, but allegedly you got people who are also out there who were paid to wear Diddy is innocent t-shirts. They were paid like $20. I don't know if it was $20 an hour or just $20, but that ain't enough money for me. For me, that's not enough money for me to be going out there and getting linked to that train wreck. Continue on at Adian so Tua was Siska 9651. You guys with these names. The prosecution failed on one aspect already. They failed to rebuttal for Cassie and Dawn. Cassie suffered from battered women syndrome and Stockholm syndrome, and in Dawn's case, Munchausen syndrome. If I'm right about this, Cassie was battered, drugged, and then plied with love, or right back to the abuse, back to love. And if you look at it, they say she helped him with his crimes. Well, Dawn was haunted by the abuse and damage that Cassie took. Why would she put herself in harm's way? blaming Cassie is ridiculous because of everything that happened to her. She was drugged and abused, for goodness sake. So overall, that's basically what people are getting at, is that blaming Cassie or trying to get on the puffy defense to just sully their testimony up does not. I mean, I know it works in a lot of cases and stuff, but it really doesn't. It really doesn't help you if you don't have a good excuse, an alibi, an explanation about these charges that are coming against you. That's really where it's all going to come down to. Pointing fingers at, well, he's not really a credible source. I'm sure it can work, but I just don't see it working much in this situation. Am I wrong about that? What do you think? I mean, overall, based on what you're hearing, if you were a betting woman, what do you think is going to land overall?
I mean, I think the evidence is there on him.
It's basically I feel like it's only a matter of time. It might take a few more weeks, few more months. Who knows? It might drag on for a long time. But I think the writing is on the wall. So putting it all together, what does this online storm tell us? How society views accountability for powerful figures now? Is this a turning point? Like, you got the Harvey Weinsteins, you've got like Diddy, you've got what's his name? That's in jail right now. R&B singer. How am I forgetting his name?
Kelly?
R. Kelly. How am I forgetting R. Kelly? You got R. Kelly. People like accountability is happening. So we're gonna have to ask ourselves, like what else is there to come? Are we seeing consistently problematic narratives of the toxic narrative, like blaming the victim, baseless claims, the free Diddy counter narrative that's ignoring allegations? I mean, all this stuff that's going on. So we got to really ask ourselves, like, what is that impact that's gonna have on us with all this I would say, what is it, counter narrative that's happening on social media? So dive through it, cut through the noise, and let me know, like, if you have any examples of the people on the Diddy's never wrong side and free Diddy side. Let me send me information on that. Are you on that side? Are you 100% against Diddy? Do you think that this is a wrap and he's probably going to jail? Let me know. Always send me your comments. If we had, like I said, we don't have any live chats right now because this is our normal time. So I don't never expect, whenever we go off script with the timing of it, I never expect that much in the live chat. But we would then throw it to the live audience. But we're going to move on to the next show. So that's it for talking through the medias. I'll do the normal like outro kind of thing, but I'll still stream live. So I'm your host, Chris Fagan. Thank you guys for listening to our deep dive into the unpacking of the Diddy trial with his latest testimony. And for the podcast people out there listening. So for me, if you want to, for your fix of talking to the medias, you can find me on all social media at T3 Media Studios or at Chris W. Fagan. That's my socials. Joy, if people want to find you online, let's just do the regular outro. Where can they do so?
I have TikTok, Viola Fagan, and I have Instagram, Scrub Hats, and More by Joy.
Buckle up, guys. We're going to be doing that like 2 more times because, like I said, we're packing it in for these different shows. So I'll do the outro just so the algorithm will know or for me to know where to edit it out. So until next time, guys, we'll be right back. Thank you guys for watching our video. I really do appreciate it. Remember, you can support our show by becoming a member or a patron. So click the subscribe button. Don't forget to ring the bell for notifications so you'll never miss out on when we go live or post new content. Let's stay connected, grow this community together. Like, subscribe, comment, and let's keep talking.